Hello, happy Friday night to ya, and welcome to the Den, a night of music and performance and revolution. In the first half, we're going to be taking a trip back down memory lane to Wigan's proud music history. The Den was originally a night in the late 80s, early 90s, but I am not the best person to be talking about this because I was eating my Cocoa Pops and watching children's TV. So Dave and Alan, who started that night, they're going to introduce the next bits, and there's some raw footage of some amazing punk bands and Green Day in Wigan. Yeah, it happened and you're going to see it. Enjoy the night.
Hello, it's Alan Woods here. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Den and the history of the place in Wigan. Just about myself, I was involved in a record shop called Alan's Records from 1987 to about 2000. And we were looking to put bands on, stuff that we were interested in the scene, more kind of in the punk side of things, punk hardcore side of things, really. And we heard about this place down the Transport Club, which is in Melville Street, which isn't too far from where the pier is, or actually now was. In Wigan, it was a walking distance from the town centre. Initially, we put some local bands on, and then we branched out and did other stuff. We did bands from further afield, from North Wales, and ended up putting on, Green Day, NoFX, Fugazi, a whole bunch of touring bands. But we were also really quite conscious of putting local bands on to be able to support. So on one hand, we had a headlining band to be able to draw the people in, but then we had local bands to support. And, we had 5 or 6 or more bands on a bill for like crazy prices, like £1.75 for a gig, which even then was just crazy. I don't know why we just didn't call it £2, but, we must have had loads of like float or something. So yeah, that was mad. But yeah, it was a really good time to be involved in the music scene generally. The venue was brilliant, and I'm really pleased to have been a small part of it.
Hiya, my name's Dave Arnold, bass player in Wigan stroke Liverpool punk band Gelso Recipes. Around, 87 to 92. But before that, in 1985, I was in a band called Ha Ha Syndrome. And we put a gig on at a pub on the Seven Stars Bridge upstairs. Ticketed event, 100 tickets, yellow tickets, I remember. And surprisingly to us, we sold that gig out. It was very successful, but for some reason there was a problem. Not sure what the problem was, but either the band was too loud, something got broken, I don't know. But we needed to go and find another venue, and we found the Wigan bus station Working Men's Social Club. And me and Paul Lewis put some gigs on there with Ha Ha Syndrome, and then my second band, the Great Medicine Men, and a couple of other Wigan bands started getting in on the act and using that. And we were the first people to use that venue and put bands on that were not cabaret or club acts, so sort of like alternative bands, for want of a better word. Anyway, here's the first clip of what was kind of going down around those times. This isn't actually at the original venue. This is at the second venue, the Cricketers, and this is a band from New York called Gorilla Biscuits doing a song called Hold Your Ground.
This is called Hold Your Fucking Ground! That's it. Good. Go to Leeds.
So that was Gorilla Biscuits. That was actually at the Unity Club, which was in Poolstock. It's the venue that we used after we did the Den. But we did have a lot of bands come in just to play Wigan. I mean, for example, Green Day flew over. The second time they played here in Wigan, I think they only played, well, they came to the UK to Simon Warren Brothers for the Dookie album. And they played Southampton, went to London, signed the contract, drove to Wigan just to play the Den, and then flew back home to San Francisco. So that was a really cool thing. And a lot of bands did that. They would play maybe like London, Leeds, Princess Charlotte in Leicester, maybe TJ's in Newport and Wigan. So it wasn't always cities. So Wigan was definitely on the map of the touring scene for the bands. And anyway, speaking of which, here's Green Day.
Welcome to Paradise.
So that's some pretty amazing footage of Green Day, just on the cusp of about to become famous, but famous enough that they could travel to the UK and play gigs, and that people would come out and watch them. I wouldn't like to guess how many people were in that room, but I would think it would be on or over the fire regulations, maybe 250, 300 people. I don't know. And it's also apparent watching that clip that there's no barrier between the audience and the band. The band are quite happy to have the audience in and around them and on the stage, and vice versa. And I think the audience feeded off the band and the band feed off the audience. And I know that it's a pivotal moment for Wigan, but it's also, I know that that gig to Green Day is fondly remembered as one of the best gigs they ever played, period, wherever they played. It's fair to say that not all the gigs were as well attended as that, and some of the early gigs, some of the gigs that Alan would be putting on in the 88 were not that well attended. There'd be like a bunch of like skateboarder, skate rockers, punk rockers, whatever you want to call them, and then like a handful of traditional punk guys in bondage pants and leather jackets who would be sniffing glue outside before they entered the venue because they couldn't afford to buy a ticket and buy beer. It was one or the other. Anyway, here's another clip from the original venue, which was at the Buzz Depot. And it's a band from California, a pretty famous pop punk band, NoFX. And I think this song and this performance, you know, just really illustrates the energy and chaos that was in the room when these bands would play.
I got hamsters on my hands. Together on the sand, we walked hand in hand on the beachfront. She smiled at me, she tied me hand in my hand. small for stage diving, you know what I mean?
Wow, that was no effects. I think that clip really helps to convey the just flipping madness and the chaos of what it was like there. Such a relatively small venue, so many people, but everybody having a great time. You know, we never really had any issues with any trouble or anything like that. I mean, there was one time I was doing a small segment on Steve Barker's On the Wire radio show for BBC Radio Lancashire. And I put out, there's a gig on in Wigan at the Den next Friday, and we've got whoever we've got playing, Doctor and the Crippins, Nightmare Visions, like Trippies or whoever, and a list of bands, and probably a whole bunch of other bands who will just turn up and play. And I didn't really think about what I was saying, and then of course the following Friday, like a bunch of flipping bands turned up with guitars, and I'm like, hey, listen, you can't just turn up and play. And they were like, yeah, we had the radio show on Friday and you said we could. So we did try to accommodate everybody as much as possible. But yeah, flipping amazing times. And that's something that we're trying to recreate. Not the squashing too many people into a venue part of it, but that's what we're trying to recreate with the Den nowadays. Anyway, we're on to the last clip already, which was another clip at the Unity Club, which was in Poolstock, or the Cricketers as it was known. And this is from New York, come Connecticut, second wave straight edge band, Youth of Today.
This dude. And go!
was the Den as it was back in the day. And I need to speak a little bit about why we're motivated to do this in 2020 or maybe 2021. Yeah, the political climate, in the environment, so many things that are going on. We feel that there's a need for, bands to be able to have a platform, those that have got something to say. And the Den could be the perfect opportunity to be able to do that. Again, looking back, crazy now when, I look back at Electripies and look at some of their songs like Mother and BP, talking about, how we're destroying the planet, and how BP were involved and still are in, fossil fuel production. And thinking about Extinction Rebellion, XR Wigan, and the action at Barclays, who are a big investor in fossil fuels, and to see that Electripies called all that stuff like 30 years ago, who were a band from Wigan who played the Den, was amazing. So yeah, we just want to give a platform to these things that are important, and to give a place to play for bands that might not be able to fill a larger venue. And I think what the Old Courts have come up with for us will be brilliant, and it'll hopefully be able to carry on the legacy.
And that brings us to the end of our first half. It was good, wasn't it? It was amazing. I'd like to give thanks to Sean Shea, Mel Warled, Adam Wilson and Giles Perkins for organising gigs at the original 3 venues at the Bus Depot, the Cricketers and Mill at the Pier, and an extra special thanks to Paul Lewis, also known as Sibs World, for the access to his video archives and for taking the time to remaster the clips for us. Hay fever, not COVID. You can't catch it through TV screens, guys. So let's have a little break and I'll see you after you had a drink and a wee, and we'll go on to the second half, which is the musicians of today and tomorrow. The Den. Rock on.
To donate, visit www.theoldcourts.com/donate. All donations mean the world to us, no matter how small. Donations will be used to help us continue our work in arts and culture, and also to offer support to artists and community groups in this extremely difficult time.
Welcome back to the second half of The Den. Happy Earth Day for Wednesday. Coming up, we've got music from Molluska, from Terror Claws and from Dan Forrest. And we've got a little message from Extinction Rebellion Wigan just saying hi. But first, let me introduce Molluska. I hope you're fed up of pop princesses and saccharine song contests. This girl, I think she is a cross between PJ Harvey and Courtney Love. I think you'll love her. She's got a couple of tracks and she says hello in the middle. See you in a bit.
Hi guys, Molluska here. Welcome to tonight's live stream. Obviously, I was supposed to be playing this year's Earth Day event at the Den in Wigan, but because of this situation, I obviously can't be there. When we are all set free again from lockdown, I will be sure to be coming down and singing some tunes for you. But thanks for watching tonight's live stream. I believe you're now going to see a couple of videos from me. If you want to watch them again or see more, then you can head over to my YouTube or check my Facebook page. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're looking after yourself. Hope you're looking after one another. And yeah, stay inside so that we can get outside sooner. Okay? Sacrifice your love so you could have more than enough money to swim in. No new beginnings. I heard you sacrifice your trust. You should be more than ready to get cut it off. Think you too damn old just to go it alone. There's no honor in your fears, simply for yourself in your twilight. What about the lies you hold so near? Smiles on social media to keep up appearances. There's no honor in your fears, simply for yourself in your twilight. What about the lies you hold so near? Smiles on social media to keep up appearances. Now, when did you go? When did you go? When did you go and get so good? When did you go? When did you go? When did you go? Sell your soul 1993 when you were still a teen, watching dead eyes gleam through a TV screen. When did you go? When did you go? When did you go and get so damn cold? Get so damn cold. Oh, oh, oh. The scientific study of the mirror. Look at what life did to you. It's not your fault, cause you just did as you were told. These laughter lines inside your mind are not defined by having a good time, marked undesirable by the stories you still ain't told. When did you get so scared? Have you been left feeling unprepared? You may have bought the lies, but listen, E, you still got the time. You had a need for speed when you were 19, but at least you had a sense of community. You know everybody on the street is your enemy. Was that money with the loss of your empathy? Now when did you go? When did you go? When did you go? Get so old. When did you go? When did you go? When did you go? But sell your soul 1993 when you were still a teen, watching dead eyes gleam through a TV screen. When did you go? When did you go? When did you go? But get so damn cold. Get so damn cold. Oh, oh, oh. Have an injection here and an obsession there. The way you view life, it just ain't fair. You expect others to care, but at least you got your goal, and that was your final goal, right? You never dreamed of the road, never heard the stories you still ain't told. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 Na 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 na. When did you go? When did you go? When did you go? Ghetto. When did you go? When did you go? When did you go? Sell your soul 1993 when you were still a teen, watching dead eyes gleam through a TV screen. You thought that could be me, the world Irish to see one come as easily as his money. I sacrificed my love, I sacrificed my life, I live in apathy and become a rich man's wife. No need for empathy, you can't prescribe it to me. This world is just too damn easy. I need these expensive things now to please me. You know I'm too old for new love, don't tease me. I listen whenever I scream, please believe me. You know I'm rolling in that money, honey. My man has learned to build a whole world with his hands, and he builds futures when he lays them on me. Yeah. something unfamiliar inferior to nothing. Senses all I can see. I ain't playing when I say that I love him. Some cliche, baby, there ain't no one above you. All the time we to play breaks. We hiss like the snakes. I'm not proud of all my mistakes. They've led him to me. Mommy holds the whole world with his hand. It's equal expression to me. He gets me lifted, but I know they won't have. Put my life on it, 'cause I've never trusted anything more. There's good man handle me, you can't dismantle me as long as you got that into me. You can do what you please, man handle me, you can dismantle me as long as you got that into me. You can do what you please. You can do what you please. You can do what you please. My man says they always been proud of themselves. He's on the CEOs. He is well. He'd like to be gone. Stakes up on the shelf. Leave him out the car. Throw him out the window. Anyway, ain't no judgment. It's good man handle me. You can dismantle me as long as you got that into me. You can do as you please, man handle me. You can dismantle me as long as you got that into me. You can do as you please. You can do as you please. You can do as you my man has learned to build a whole world with his hands, and he builds futures when he lays them on me.
It was good, that, wasn't it? Molluska recorded that last track for Brides Not Bombs. And to be honest, the first half was a little bit of a sausage fest, wasn't it? Yes, it was. What an amazing talent. So next up, Extinction Rebellion would like to take 3 minutes of your time just to introduce you to us at Extinction Rebellion Wigan. I'd like you to meet Julie.
Hi everybody, I'm Julie and I'm here to introduce you to Extinction Rebellion Wigan from the old courts, or my living room as it is, thanks to lockdown. So how I first got into it was a friend of mine was active in XR at the national level and was involved in the London rebellion of April 19, and he said come on down. So I got the train down on Easter Saturday and he toured me round. That was when the big pink boat was in Piccadilly Circus, Oxford Circus, and some of the bridges were taken, and I went on to Waterloo Bridge and it was just wonderful. There were plants everywhere, smiling people, gazebos with small groups of people playing instruments, and a free kitchen, a vegan kitchen, giving away food for free. And the interesting thing was that lovely peaceful vibe, and yet there were like police officers all at the end, because it was an illegal occupation. So it was not legal, but it was peaceful. So that was my first experience of non-violent direct action, and I thought, yes, this is the way to go. I really want to be involved in that. So within XR, we talk about 3 demands. So the first demand is to tell the truth. So what have we done in Wigan? Well, we have had a lovely Barclays Clean Up Your Act, where we put on our hazard suits and we got our scrubbing brushes and we cleaned the outside of Barclays Bank. And we did that because Barclays are big investors in the fossil fuel industry, in Shell and BP, and that is just the most planet damaging thing there is. The other things that people in Wigan have done is very much been involved in the big national demonstrations down in London. We were one of the key groups doing the Manchester Rebellion, where we took over Deansgate last summer. A few of us went up to Durham to the coal mine. There's a big coal mine there, an open cast coal mine, where they're wanting to expand and move further into the valley. And there's been a local pressure group there for years and years, fighting hard. So we went to lend. There was about a 4-day event, and people from XR Wigan went and supported that. So basically, we were going to do quite a few actions this spring, and because of lockdown, we can't do that. But we would very much welcome any of you coming along, even if you're not inconvenient crusties, you're welcome. And see Facebook for further details. Bye.
So there you go. They're not all weirdos like me who've not decorated the bedroom wall yet. On that note, I would like to say thank you to all the people who attend Extinction Rebellion Wigan, all the nurses, the teachers, the people who work in shops, who are all the other key workers who I see at the meetings and working hard for us now. So thank you very much. Are you ready for some music? Okay, next up, I would like to introduce to you Terror Claws. Get ready to dance in your living room. Get ready to feel alive. Terror Claws are a recently formed old school hardcore band from Wigan and Timperley. They've got strong messages on personal politics, depression, broken relationships and environmental concerns. After 34 years of playing in bands, they thought it seemed more important than ever to draw attention to some of these subjects. It's good in. Okay. Terror Claws!
Constantly taking it off.
I cannot wait to see Terror Claws live in the Den at the Old Courts when we finally get to put on our first live act. There'll be musicians, there'll be poets, there'll be ranters, there'll be ravers. It'll be amazing. Now, this is our final act of the night. Thank you for sticking with us. I'd like to introduce Dan First. Dan First is covering some songs by local bands. The first two songs are by a band called Jail Cell Recipes, which was an iconic band in the era of the first Den. And then he covers a song by a band called Gunpowder Plot, which was probably born off all the work that Alan and Dave put in to Wigan punk. Dan's dad, Tim, was a friend of Dave and Alan, so he was been brought up on this music. And he's a humble guy, and it's a really nice set, so I hope you enjoy it. I'll just pop up at the end when he's finished to say goodbye.
Yo! Cheers for having me. Name's Danny, and I'm going to be playing a couple of songs from local Wigan bands. I did a show at Alan's Records reunion a number of years ago, and I played a bunch of Jail Cell Recipe songs, and I guess this is a small continuation of that. I'm just going to do a couple of tunes for anyone who might have missed it. So, and then I've got a Gunpowder Plot song to throw in there as well. So, yeah, let's do it. First one's called Sweet Nothings. And I haven't practiced much, but I don't think that matters. That'll do. God, it's been a long time since I've even listened to these songs. I grew up listening to them, so I do know them quite well, but not well enough to forget the ending of that song, but it's alright, forget about it. Yeah, what else can we do? We've got a list here. We have the probably super rare Jail Cell Recipes vinyl, which I believe was given to my dad out the back of the van at a Descendants show or something. He told me the story anyway. So yeah, that's the probably as rocking horse crap these days. Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll do Smiles. If I can remember how it goes. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, cool. Let's do. We'll do a Gunpowder Plot song, and then I think that'll be it. I've taken over the living room for long enough, so yeah. What will we do? Yeah, that'll do. We'll do The Editor by Gunpowder Plot. At the office, the editor is trying to fill a page. It looks very blank, but that's okay. He does this every day. He makes up shit for the gobshites to read. Now he gets bored easily. Heads up lads, there's tits on page 3. The editor, unelected dictators. The editor, an alligator. Another late night at the Growl Show. The editor is bumming up to a government insider, a parasite, up the ass for democracy, up They asked for democracy. Alistair Campbell, Andy Coulson, Rupert Murdoch, the editors, unelected dictators, the editors, an alligator. They hooked us on celebrities. What a great way to distract. They shout out for death penalties, but I'm right to counteract. Cause the last thing that he wants is for us to see right through the spin of lies and made up facts. Mean nothing without you, cause they'll need you to believe, and you do. Chase the caribou. Chase the caribou. Chase the caribou. Chase the caribou. Another crack shows in the edifice. The editor is showing signs of stress. He's just not used to this. Answering questions. It's just payback from all those years of threats and mobile tactics. Under attack from the reptiles that he used to back. The editor, unelected dictator. The editor, an alligator. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my little tunes. Just everyone look after yourself, stay safe, stay home, and try and stay sane. Look after your mental health. If you need to talk, then talk to the people closest to you. Love you all. Enjoy.
Okay, this is the end of our evening. I can see on the Facebook Live feed that everyone's been going, Louise, when are you going to do a poem or a song? I cannot sing. You would not like me to do a song. But I will do a poem just to herald us out. This is a poem I wrote for a science project where I was working with a young black engineer, a young woman, a young Muslim woman, and we wrote together this piece. Is called The Rules. The rules, aka the facts. Just as T comes before Q, just as P's comes before Q's, just as the white ball comes before the black ball, just as white comes before black, just as male comes before female, just as female comes before she-male, just as same comes before other, just as married comes before single mother. Just as rich comes before poor, just as WN1 comes before W1N4, just as misery comes before crack, just as fortune comes before frack, just as about any other religion comes before Islam, at least in the eyes of the Western media, just as greed comes before greedier, just as have comes before have nots, just as eyes come without being bloodshot or blind, just as cruel comes before kind, just because I come before you, just as fossil comes before fuel, just as public schools come before those who rule, just as white comes before black, just as fiction comes before fact, just as thought comes before act, just as make comes before mend, just as bend comes before break. Make the rules, break the rules, make the rules. I'm looking forward to the world to come when we can make the rules again. A huge thanks to Dave Arnold and Alan Woods for making this happen, and I've just tagged on as a little like, hi, I'll do the presenting. Have a good night. See you soon. See you at the Old Courts. Bye.